Hello people, hope you guys are having a good time. Welcome to another video of English with Ashish, and today I'm gonna teach you how to use a comma effectively. So without wasting any time, let's kick this lesson off.
What if you get a text like this from my side which says, I like cooking my friends and dogs? What are you gonna do? You're gonna block me as fast as you can and you're never gonna see me again. That's logical, I would do the same damn thing. But what if the text says, I like cooking, my friends, and dogs? I like three things: cooking, my friends, and dogs. Now you're probably gonna give me a thumbs up or a smiley and everything's cool. How about this? You're a smoker and you go to a new area and you don't know whether you can smoke or not. So you go to a person, you go to an authority person, and you ask the guy, is smoking prohibited here? You ask that guy, is smoking prohibited here? And if the person goes, no smoking allowed in this area. So what you do? You keep your cigarettes inside your pocket and you don't smoke. But what if the person goes, no, smoking allowed in this area? Now you happily take your cigarettes or whatever you like out and you smoke, right? So, guys, we just have seen how crazy or ridiculous sentences could mean without or with commas not at the right places. So, since we have understood the essence of commas, let's look at our rule number one.
If your sentence starts with an introductory phrase or an adverb, simply put a comma after it. Alright? Let me show you some examples. Unfortunately, India lost the match. Unfortunately, India lost the match. Unfortunately is my introductory adverb here. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to put a comma after it. All right. Unfortunately, comma, India lost the match. Let's take one more example. When the exam ended, we started celebrating. When the exam ended, we started celebrating. So when the exam ended is my introductory phrase. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm simply going to put a comma after it. All right. When the exam ended, we started celebrating. Now, whenever you start your sentence with an introductory phrase, that could be an adverb or anything else, simply put a comma after it. All right. Now let's talk about rule number two. If you start your sentence with a dependent clause, put a comma after it. All right. If you start your sentence with a dependent clause, put a comma after it. So if you don't know what is a dependent clause, don't worry, I'm going to tell you what is it. All right. A dependent clause is a clause that is dependent on some other parts of a sentence. All right. It cannot stand on its own. It depends on something. That is why it's a dependent clause. And that is why it's not a sentence. All right. And it always starts with a subordinating conjunction. Conjunctions like after, before, if, though, even if, when, all right? Whereas these are some of the subordinating conjunctions dependent clauses start with, all right? Now, let me give you some examples. Whenever I help people, I feel amazing. Whenever I help people, I feel amazing. So whenever I help people is my dependent clause, all right? So I have to put a comma after it. So that's how it's gonna look like. Whenever I help people, comma, I feel amazing. Whenever I help people, comma, I feel amazing. All right? Let's take one more example. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. Now, as you can see, if you believe in yourself is starting with the subordinating conjunction if. So we get to know it's a dependent clause, all right? So it needs to be separated with a comma, all right? So I'm simply going to put a comma at the end of it. If you believe in yourself, comma, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in life, all right? So that's rule number two. Whenever you start your sentence with a dependent clause, simply put a comma after it. Now let's talk about rule number three. This is one of the most common mistakes that we people do. All right, we bring two independent clauses together with a comma. We simply cannot do that. In English, this is called a comma splice. It's an error and we need to correct it. Okay, let me show you an example first. I went to Dubai, comma, I bought a horse. All right, we have two independent clauses here. The first one is I went to Dubai, and the second one is I bought a horse. All right, and I'm bringing these two independent clauses together with a comma, which I cannot do. That's an error. All right, so I now need to correct it. So before correcting it, let's get to understand what is an independent clause. An independent clause is a clause that is not dependent on anything. It itself is a complete sentence. Okay? So now let me tell you the ways in order to correct it. There are three ways in order to correct this. Number one, simply put a coordinating conjunction after the comma. Alright? We have 7 coordinating conjunctions in English. For, and, nor, but, or, yet. So, a way to remember these is fanboys, all right? The first letter of all these coordinating conjunctions, all right? It becomes fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet. So, okay? So, bring an appropriate coordinating conjunction after the comma and it'll be grammatically fine. So, I'm gonna use and here. I went to Dubai, comma, and I bought a horse. I went to Dubai, comma, and I bought a horse. All right, that's the first way to correct it. Let's talk about the second way. Second way to correct the error of a comma splice is to bring a semicolon. All right, replace the comma with a semicolon. Simply put the semicolon in place of a comma. That's how it's gonna look. I went to Dubai, semicolon, I bought a horse. I went to Dubai, semicolon, I bought a horse. That's the second way to correct it. Okay? Simply put a semicolon in place of comma. The third way to correct it is to put a full stop after the first independent clause. All right? Just put a full stop. I went to Dubai, full stop. I bought a horse. I went to Dubai, full stop. I bought a horse. That is the third way to correct it. Okay, so whenever you come across a comma splice, these are the ways in order to correct it. Now let's talk about a rule number 4. When you have a list containing more than 2 items, separate them using commas. Let me show you an example. She bought apples, grapes, and bananas. Here I have 3 items that are apples, grapes, and bananas. Alright, so the comma that comes before and is called an Oxford comma, which is also known as a serial comma. Alright, a lot of people don't use it, but I would strongly advise you, I would strongly recommend you to use it in order to avoid confusion. Alright, let me show you an example wherein it can get confusing. Okay, the sentence is, in breakfast, we had oats, bread and butter, and salad. In breakfast, we had oats, bread and butter, and salad. Now, you might be thinking that we have 4 items here that are oats, bread, butter, salad, which is not the case. We have 3 items only that are oats, bread and butter, which is considered as one thing here, bread and butter on the top of it. All right, that's what it is, and salad. It's getting confusing because we don't have the Oxford comma. All right, if we put a comma before n, it will make it very clear that bread and butter is one dish. Let's do it. Look at the sentence now. It makes it very clear that bread and butter is one dish here. All right, so always use the Oxford comma. Now I have a task for you guys. Here's a tweet directly coming from the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. He's saying something to us. It's an interesting tweet. It's an old tweet, but it's very interesting, all right? All you gotta do is you gotta find out the error, the comma error, and you gotta put it out in the comment section below. If you get it right, you get it right. I don't have anything to offer to you, man. I am broke, all right? So I'll see your comments in the comment section below, and hope you enjoyed watching this video. As always, hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to English with Ashish, and share this video with your friends, with your family members, with all the people that can be benefited out of it. And I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, have fun. Ashish is out.